It is the week that football tickets sell like hotcakes. It is the week when family and friends spend time together during Thanksgiving, giving thanks and appreciation for all that they have, but break their necks on Black Friday to get their hands on a big screen TV. It is the week that two football programs, two historic teams, go neck and neck in a battle for bragging rights for the next 365 days. This is Iron Bowl Week. This is Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine, reporting live from outside the Melmore facility. After a 49-0 rout of Western Carolina here at Bryant-Denny Stadium on this past Saturday, in a game in which the Alabama Crimson Tide seemed to go back to playing fundamentally sound football, being able to pound the ball up and down the field and pass efficiently, the Tide now turns its attention to this Saturday, Iron Bowl Saturday, as they take on the Auburn Tigers here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Coach Nick Saban is at the press conference right now, getting ready for his press conference. Let's go live to the action.
The players actually competed well in the game, played hard, had a good competitive spirit. We got to play a lot of players, which are all, positive things. Obviously some things that we could do better and things that we need to learn from to continue to improve. Players of the week: Anthony Steen, Chance Warmack, and Michael Williams on offense, Nico Johnson and C.J. Mosley on defense, and special teams Brent Callaway and Landon Collins. John Fulton is, going to be able to practice some today. We have a couple guys out there that may not be full speed today, but we expect everybody to be, ready to, practice and be good, by tomorrow. So, I just want to make everybody understand here that, we're not in any conversations about anything other than the game that we're playing. Unless we win the next game, we don't have another game. All right, we're trying to work our way into a conversation by how we play. We're not trying to hold a position, we're trying to create one, all right, by what we do and how we play. So, everybody in this organization needs to understand that we're dismissing all talk about anything except, playing Auburn. The Iron Bowl was a big deal. It's a legendary game that people remember for a long, long time, and still talk about games that happened in the past that had huge impacts and effects on, the future of what happened. And they're traditionally very, very tough games. So it's important that we play our best game, and I also think that, Auburn is playing their best football of the year. They can run the ball effectively. They got two really good runners. New quarterback, Jonathan Wallace, started the last 3 games and has been, very effective, as a runner and a passer. They've got some good skill guys outside. They're talented front 7 on defense who have some pass rushers. They play very, very well. Probably one of the best teams we played all year when it comes to special teams. So, we have lots of challenges and lots of things that we need to do, that we need to prepare well for this game, practice well for this game, and we know what kind of game these games are, and our players need to be aware of that. We need to do the best job we can of preparing for a very good team.
The Denver Post reported this morning that Alabama and Colorado State are close to an agreement to play a couple of games. Is that something you can tell us about?
No. When we sign a contract to play a game, we'll announce it, and that's up to our administration. So whenever that happens, I think that's up to them. It's not up to me. We're still looking for a game next year. I will confirm that.
Secondly, at the wide receiver position, it seems like y'all kind of had a nagging injury here and there all year. 1 week it's one guy, 1 week it's another guy. Do you feel like you have enough receivers who understand the X and the Z and the slot to get through that, or has it been a difficulty at some times?
Well, it has been a difficulty at times because we have had, a lot of, first of all, we lost a couple guys at the position. We're playing a couple freshmen, some of them playing very well, sometimes not as well as we like, but they've been productive at times. And we're satisfied and pleased with the progress that they've made, but want to continue to improve. But we also like to get, the guys that have a little more experience healthy enough that they can go out there and prepare for the game properly, practice like we need to practice, so we get a little more continuity in what we're trying to do. And hopefully this week, Kevin's fine, and we'll get him back. And that was the most recent guy that had an injury problem. So, hopefully we'll be a little better this week.
Just wonder if you could evaluate the play of your linebackers so far this season. I know you lost a couple guys last year, but it seems like a lot of those guys have filled in those roles pretty well so far.
Well, C.J. Mosley has obviously been the most productive guy at that position for us, and he ended up playing a lot of nickel and dime based on the kind of offenses we've had to play against, and he's very, very productive in all those things. And traded Brees and Nico have done a good job. They haven't probably gotten as many opportunities because, again, it's a little bit the style of offenses that we've had to play against. They'll both get an opportunity to play this week, and we're hopeful that they'll both play extremely well.
And on punt returning, Christian Jones had another fumble there, and then Cyrus came in. Is it safe to say there's a rotation there between the two?
No, there's not a rotation at all. Christian Jones is going to be the punt return guy, and I wanted to try to get Cyrus more experience at doing it. So we didn't take Christian out because he misplayed the ball. But I think that our guys got to understand that in each ball that we have not fielded properly, it's because of poor fundamentals. We're not getting squared up on the ball. We're trying to make tough catches outside of our body, over our shoulders. So those kinds of things we need to do better fundamentally, so we won't have those kind of issues and problems, because those are huge changes in field position. And the number one thing when you're in punt return, number one important thing is possession of the ball. We get the ball back. Let's just get the ball back. You don't always have to try to make a great play. Just make a smart play. And possession of the ball was most important. So, in the last three games, we've taken far too many risks in terms of how we're managing, getting the ball back.
Coach, what happened Saturday reminds me of what you said a few weeks ago about the only thing predictable about college football is that it's unpredictable. Is it also something that you can stress to your players and use as a, reinforcement that anything can happen?
Well, I think what we try to stress to our players is trying to learn from your previous experience. What I see happening is, people get sort of emotionally stressed out relative to their circumstances, which is where they're ranked, who they're playing, and all of a sudden you get tentative and don't play aggressively. You don't prepare the same way. You're worried emotionally, which affects your ability to focus, and you don't play as well. That's not, none of these things are bad things. There's nobody taking anybody out and shooting them behind the barn, all right, because we got an opportunity to play in this game. We got an opportunity to play in this game and maybe another game. That's a good thing. That's something that everybody worked hard to create. All right, so, be positive. It's what great competitors love to do. And, go compete and play your best games. Don't get emotionally stressed out and start, playing to keep from getting beat, and be tentative about your approach to what you're doing. And, I think it did happen to us, and it probably happened to some other people. And, that's what we try to, guard against. But, you've got to stay focused on the process of what you're doing right now. And what made you a good player and play well as a team in some other part of the season is the same things that are going to make you a good team and be able to play well individually now. So it's not about the circumstance that you're in. It's about the vision that you have for what you want to accomplish and understanding what you need to do it. And go do that. Play your best football. Play our best football game and not good enough to win, then I'm okay with that. I'm just absolutely, want the players to play their best game and have the right sort of disposition about doing that, rather than being caught up in the circumstances of, what's at stake or whatever. That's why this game is the most important game of the year, and we need to be focused on what we need to do play well in this game.
Coach, I have two. First, Kenny Draker didn't play last week. Will he be available this week? Was it a
Yeah,
week?
he's available.
Okay. And second, just in their last 3 or 4 games since they went with Jonathan Wallace at quarterback, you alluded to this earlier, but could you, what differences do you see in their offense?
Well, to me, they're he's done a really good job of managing the game for them, and that's a good thing to me. So that don't take that the wrong way, but he's done a good job of throwing the football. They've got some decent skill guys. They've made more explosive plays in the passing game, and they're an effective, just as an effective running team. And he is doing all the quarterback runs that they do, and he's athletic enough to do it and makes good decisions about it. So I think the whole idea of processing information, making good decisions at that position, I think that's something that he's done extremely well in the last 3 games that he's played.
Nick, one of your former assistants, Derek Dooley, was fired yesterday at Tennessee. Gene Chizik won a national championship 2 years ago at Auburn. He's believed to be on the hot seat. Does it concern you or bother you that this profession is becoming more than ever a what have you done for me lately profession?
Well, I think it is what it is. There's a lot of there's a lot of attention to what we do. I think there's a high expectation to what we do. Derek Dooley is a good friend. He's been very, very loyal for 7 years and working on our staff, and regardless of what he did or didn't do at Tennessee, he's still someone who is a professional colleague and a good friend who we would love to help any way that we can. I personally think Gene Chizik has done a really good job. All I know is playing against them, it's always a tough game. They're always well coached and they're always well prepared, and that's all I can really comment about. So I think that sometimes that the standard that everybody wants all of us to play to is not something that is a continuum. It's a process that is constantly evolving, and sometimes when you get a few things that happen maybe that don't go in your favor, it can affect the kind of results that you can get, and some of them you can control and some of them you can't. So whether I like it or not, it is the world that we live in, and I fully understand that 2 years from now, if we don't continue to have a good team, that I'll be in the same seat that other people are in now. So it's the nature of the beast in our profession.
Your defense had 23 takeaways in the first 8 games. You've only had 1 in the past 3. Is there an explanation for going from one extreme to the other?
If I knew the explanation and we could fix it, we would. We emphasize turnovers. We emphasize turnovers the same way in the first half of the season, which I used to get asked questions, or what are you doing different this year that you didn't do last year when you didn't get turnovers? Well, we did the same things then that we do now, and we got turnovers. And we're doing the same things now that we did in the first part of the season, and we're not getting turnovers. So we continue to emphasize it. I think, taking care of the ball. We've also put the ball on the ground more, in the last couple games. So a combination of both of those things. Getting the turnovers is really critical and something that we want to continue to emphasize and work on. And ball security on offense is something that is also critical, because turnover ratio is, paramount in being successful. I think it's one of the leading stats in winning and losing. And we haven't done ourselves any favors in the last couple games.
Also, do you enjoy this week?
Well, I enjoy coaching. I enjoy the challenges. I enjoy working with the players, trying to prepare them. I look forward to the opportunity that we've created for ourselves. It's what great competitors or people who like to compete really enjoy doing. That's what you work for. To have an opportunity to win a division, win a big rivalry game, whatever the emphasis might be. I mean, that's what we work for. That's what's fun. And I think that from a coach's perspective, you know, we need to be positive and energetic about the fact that we have this opportunity. You know, we can't, as coaches, get all uptight and expect the players not to get all uptight. So, you know, we need to approach this in a positive way. We need to coach and teach them to have the best opportunity they can to be successful in the game, and do that in a positive way and focus on what they're trying to create for themselves, not what they might lose. And, you know, that's going to be the approach that we take. It's always the approach that we take, and, you know, hopefully our players will respond to it the right way.
Two questions. First off, AJ has had some pretty adverse circumstances in the last 2 SEC games. Can you talk about how he's rebounded, you know, within the game from those, and almost pulled out 2?
I don't really understand your question, but, you know, I'll try to answer it the best I can. I think that, you know, we have not thrown the ball probably as well in the last couple games. I'm not talking about AJ, I'm talking about as a team. And I think, you know, some of it's contributed to, you know, we haven't had a lot of continuity at receiver. We got guys playing different positions. You know, Amari Cooper was out in the LSU game, and, you know, Kevin was out in the last game, and, you know, we just, you know, have a lot of different circumstances going on, and I think it's really important for guys to be able to go out and work together and sort of have an anticipation and an expectation when you got to make quick decisions, process information quickly. People's got to be where you expect them to be, and then you got to fundamentally do a good job of setting your feet and getting into the throws so that you're accurate in what you're doing. So I think it's a combination of things. I don't think it's anything about AJ. And I'm sure that he would be the first to tell you that, hey, there's things that I could do better in each one of those games. And that's what we want to focus on, is to try to improve so that we can get a little better execution, you know, in that part of what we do.
And TJ, could you talk a little bit about how he's handled the ups and downs of just playing in the SEC this year? Is that some?
Talk about TJ.
I'm sorry, TJ Yeldon.
Yeah, well, you know, TJ has played extremely well for us at times. I think has been very, very mature about, you know, the role that he has, the way he's managed it and handled it as a young player, who has done a really good job for our team for the most part. You know, again, you know, we talk about ball security. That's for every player on offense, and I think there's, you know, fundamental things that we can do to try to improve that. And I think when every player does that, it gives them the best chance to, you know, take care of the ball. So, but we've been extremely pleased with, you know, what, you know, TJ has done consistently throughout the year, as well as his production and consistency game in and game out. So we're happy with where he is, and you know, hopefully he'll have a great game, you know, this Saturday.
It means if you win it, it means you don't hear nothing for any Auburn fans for 365 days. But if you lose it, you're gonna hear everything. But to win the game, it means a lot. I mean, the history goes back, and that's what we work for. You know, every year we got to win this game. No matter if we win any other one, we got to win this game. You know, we work so hard just to, you know, towards this game. So it means everything.
You put more pressure on yourselves because it's a rivalry game than any other game?
Oh no, you don't put no pressure on yourself. It's just, the excitement goes up. You know, the intensity goes up, the focus goes up. But as far as pressure, there's no pressure. You know, we're still gonna do the same thing we've been doing. We want to go out and dominate our opponent for 60 minutes, and that's what we're gonna do.
I know you guys always say you don't do scoreboard watching, and you don't, but with the game being over so early in the day and everything that happened later on in the day, did you watch anything that happened in the evening?
I caught some of it. You know, I was kind of spending a little time with my family because I haven't seen them in a while, but I caught some of it. Later on, I caught some on ESPN. But, you know, once again, you know, we have an opportunity at hand. You know, and none of this won't be possible if we don't take care of this week. You know, if we take care of this week and whatever after that, then I think we should be okay. Like you said yourself, you know, we got to get back to no scoreboard watching. You know, we got to get back to, you know, want to dominate our opponent for 60 minutes. You know, we feel like when we do that, we're at our best. And, you know, we control our destiny.
How does it feel though now that you don't have to watch scoreboards anymore because you guys do control your own destiny? When a week ago you didn't.
I think the Texas A&M game was the first time we was kind of watching the scoreboard, worried about, we was down 21-0 or whatever. And it kind of showed, so if we don't do that, I think we did that in the second half. We made a run there, but if we don't do that, then we should be okay. I mean, I can't say that we did it before or do it now or don't do it now. So we just gotta be cautious.
During the press conference, Coach Saban informed the media on one thing. He said, although we have positioned ourselves back in the best position in the standings, there is not a game that is more important than this one. He told the media, I don't even want to talk about any other game before this one. He says the game against Auburn this Saturday is a rivalry game, it's an important game, and it is a big deal. With the Tide going back to be number 2 in the BCS standings, the question for them this week, can they mentally and physically prepare themselves well for this Iron Bowl game? Knowing what's at stake, but not focusing on what's at stake, but rather focusing on playing to their standard of football, taking each play one possession at a time, and being efficient in their endeavor to win this game, to better position themselves for the SEC title game and the BCS National Championship game? Or will the Auburn Tigers, under head coach Gene Chizik, play the role of spoiler and once and for all ruin the chances for the Crimson Tide, not only SEC title purposes, but BCS championship purposes? These questions and more will be answered as CBS Sports will bring the game live on this Saturday, November the 24th, 2012, here at Bryant Stadium in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, as Alabama and Auburn collide on the gridiron for the Iron Bowl. This is Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine, reporting live from outside the Melmore facility.